Welcome back again. Well, you're with John Macdonald again from ProScot, and this is our final video. If you remember, we said in the last video that Lewis had suggested that we do a video putting the whole lot together, and that's exactly what we're going to do now. Now, we didn't think there was any point showing the part of the route that we did for the emergency stop and the U-turn and what we call the nursery area for the basic T-junctions emerging and turning in, because we've shown that in this previous video. And we also didn't think there was any point showing the intermediate area that we use for junctions and crossroads and meet situations and parked cars and clearances, because again we've shown that area. And we've also shown the area that we use for the roundabouts, the nursery area for the roundabouts that we use at the back of Sainsbury, and we didn't think there was any point showing the part of Dr. Toole Road again that we've already shown to you. So we thought what we'd do though is show all the other bits in between that were missed out, and we can put all that together and then give a running commentary on what we're doing and put the whole lot together for you. So without any further ado, let's get out on the road. Okay then, well this is us now ready to start the on-road section, and remember we said we're not going to repeat parts that we've already done, we're just adding the new bits for us. So this is us just at the exit of ProScot, and if you remember last time we rode along here, we turned right and we did what we would refer to as our nursery area, which is the industrial estate where we're doing emerging and turning into junctions left and right, and we also went and did the emergency stop and the U-turn. So we're not going to repeat that part because you've already seen it. So we're going to pick up the route, we go up round the industrial estate and we come back down, straight down here. So that's where we're going to pick the route up. Okay, so let's go. So I'm doing all my observations here, checking my left blind spot, my mirrors, looking ahead, checking there's nobody coming out of ProScot, seeing that it's clear, off we go. And I'm intentionally leaving my visor up here a little bit because I noticed that reduces the echo effect. If when I close it completely, it creates a bit of an echo. So that's why I've got the visor up a little bit, if you're wondering. So I'm checking left and right there at the junction. Now I've got parked cars, check my mirror on my shoulder, moving out in good time. And you'll notice I'm giving more than the door's length. I've got an oncoming car now, so I'm checking my mirror, see how close Lewis is. The car's flashing the lights, which remember we take as a warning of presence, but you can also see the car's actions as holding back. So I'm giving the driver a wee acknowledgement, checking, moving back in. Now we're going to go straight onto this roundabout. The markings are worn, but we do it in the right hand lane. I'm looking ahead and to the right, seeing it's clear. There's my safe gap, on I go, staying on the right hand side, check my mirrors, signal left, check the left shoulder to see that it's safe to come off, and off we come. I'm going straight on at the next roundabout. We see we need to be in the left hand lane, so again the OSM PSL routine, there's my mirrors, no need to signal on approach, reducing the speed, the crossing's clear, checking to the right, car coming, so I'm going to reduce speed, drop a gear, see the gap, on I go, keeping to the left hand lane, checking my mirrors, signalling left, checking, I'm seeing this dark car here in my mirror and I'm just checking to see the driver wasn't going to cut me up on the exit. Now we would normally go left here, and we would normally go up into the house and estate up in there, and that's where we would do the series of junctions and crossroads and meet situations and clearance from parked cars, but we've already shown you that, so I don't think there's any point repeating that again. Let's add new value. So here we are then, pedestrian crossing in front of me, so I've already carried out my OSM PSL routine on approach. I'm extending the vision up again, I can see a blind crest in the distance here, so I'm wondering what's over the hill here. Now I'm checking my speed and I'm sitting about 27-28 mile per hour. It is a 30 zone, so once I get over the crest, I'm watching this white car on my left now, keep an eye on the driver, make sure they've seen me, and I was also covering my front brake there just in case I had to brake. Now as I go over the crest of the hill, my vision's really opening up here, I've got a junction on the left, I'm watching this driver here, and there you go, right out in front of me. So check my mirrors as I was braking there. So the driver appeared and then just pulled right out. Check my mirrors, my shoulder, moving out in good time. You've got to assume every driver's going to do something silly. Now I'm going to turn right here, the pedestrian crossing is clear, check my mirrors, signalling, shoulder check, positioning over, reduce my speed, I see it's safe, looking into the junction, lifesaver look, and in we go. Now, I was in a 30 mile per hour zone there and there was no signs turning in, that tells me I'm still in a 30. So checking my mirrors as I enter the road, make sure my signals are cancelled, building up my speed. Extending the vision now, let's talk about more what's in the distance now. Obviously I've got a junction on the near side here. If you look up the side street, I can see there's a 20 up the side street. Also here I can see the pedestrian crossing, but nobody's at the crossing, so unlikely for the lights to change. And notice there's 2 speed signs in front of me now, signifying I'm going into a 30. Now I said to you I was already in a 30, in which I was, but there's temporary speed limit signs there sometimes when the school lights flash, and that's to let you know that you're into that 20 zone. Now we're back out into open here. It's a wee bit more hazard free, but the white car could be getting ready to pull out, and there we go, the driver pulls right out. Now we knew that was going to happen because the driver had a gap from the left and they felt they had sufficient gap to get out before me, so we could anticipate that situation happening there. And that's what I mean about looking ahead, observing, planning, being aware and anticipating the danger. Okay, well let's get the speed up now. 30 mile per hour speed limit along here. Check my mirrors, extending the vision. The pedestrian crossing's at green here, no one standing there, so unlikely to change. Extending the lights beyond that, and the traffic lights are at red. I'm doing 30 mile per hour. I'm going to have to slow down, but I'm checking my mirrors first just to see. I'm encouraging Lewis to get closer just to see what's happening, because if Lewis is too far back you're not going to see what I'm doing. So checking the mirrors now and continuing on. Looking at the crossroads on either side just to make sure there's no emergency vehicles coming through. Now I've got traffic lights up ahead here and they're at red, so I know I'm going to have to slow down, so I'm checking my mirrors, checking my blind spot, make sure it's safe, because I'm moving slightly to the right here over into the right hand lane. Reducing my speed down using both brakes, slightly more in the front than the rear, but as I get slower like this now I'm kind of easing off the front, although I'm still covering it, and just really using the back brake just to come forward for a gentle stop. And there's the lights changing. You'll notice I was driving up slowly there in the kind of hope that those lights would maybe have changed and I wouldn't have had to stop. Now then, checking my mirrors as I accelerate, building up a bit of speed, still in the 30 zone. I can see parked cars up ahead, pedestrian on the pavement. Checking my mirror, my right shoulder, and moving out in good time. Now I'm just maintaining here a speed just slightly under the 30. There is a slight level of danger because of the parked cars on the left, but you'll notice I'm giving plenty of room from them, more than a car's length, a door's length, sorry. That was almost 2 doors lengths there. Now I'm moving back more to central position just for that distance, then check my mirrors, a wee check, moving back out again for the parked vehicles. Again, I'm giving plenty of room from the parked vehicles. We've got to watch that we're not appearing to be too advanced with some of our positioning. It is still CBT, still L test. In an advanced situation I would have tended to have held my position out closer to the centre line, being in position for the hazards that were quite a distance away there, but we've got to remember this is not advanced, this is CBT. So after you've passed the hazard you should be looking to return back to your normal position, unless of course it's fairly clear that as soon as you pass the hazard, if you move back in you'll be planning to come literally straight back out again. Now pedestrian crossing but not causing any problems. Extend the vision, I've got a mini roundabout up ahead but the markings are worn, but I can tell it's the right hand lane for going straight on, so I'm positioning the right, looking across, just watching the bus now to make sure the bus gives way to me, which they are. I really don't need the signal coming off there, it's unnecessary on a mini roundabout, there isn't the time to do it. And I didn't bother with left shoulder check simply because I could see the bus and I could see there was nobody there. Again, checking my mirrors now, building up the speed. I'm in a 30 mile per hour zone, so I'm building up the speed here. And I'm now at 30. Now up ahead I can see the roadwork signs. And I can see the sign telling me to keep to the left, so I've got to look for some sort of danger as I get over the top. I can see the green lights for a pedestrian crossing. Checking my mirrors, I've got the silver car signalling right that's turned across my path. And I'm able to maintain a speed here towards 30 miles per hour. Now I look across the bend here and I can see it goes left and it goes right and it going up to a roundabout. Notice how I'm keeping my position more or less central within my lane here. I'm going to be going left and you see the 240 signs here, so we're going out onto a 40 now. So checking my mirrors, signalling left, reducing my speed on approach, looking for danger but looking to see if it's clear. There's my clear gap, no hesitation, straight onto the roundabout, keeping on the left hand side. Cancelling my signals, I can see all the stationary cars, so I'm just reducing my speed here, holding back from them, not getting too close. And you can see the signs here clearly indicate we're on a 40 mile per hour stretch here. Building up a bit of speed now, but still maintaining safe gap from the red vehicle in front. The traffic lights are at green with arrow pointing ahead, but I'll watch for them still changing back. So there's a point though when I get close enough that I'll make the decision to go through. So even if they change now, I'd still go through, because I've got time to go through before they go to amber. Again, extending, lifting the vision. I can see vehicles coming past me in my mirrors here. I can see the lights are still at green with arrow pointing up ahead, so I'm going to look for that one. Now remember, I've already showed you the filter lights, so there's no point showing that part. We've already shown you that part with the filter lights before, and that's the part of the route where we would at this point normally turn right here, and we normally go up through the housing estate. Now then, checking my mirrors and slowing down because the lights are at red here, and you'll see there's the traffic on the right turning right. Now that's the part of the route where we, as I say, turn right, and we go up through the housing estate, and we do that kind of nursery area that we showed you and demonstrated to you before with the roundabout. So there's no point demonstrating that, but that's in the previous video. We covered that in element E part 2. So there's no point going over that. All we're trying to do here is just show you the parts that we never showed you in the last video, so we don't make it too long, and also discuss other things that we're seeing. Now you can see at the moment, I'm probably going to be the next person, if you remember the sequence of lights before, so I can expect this set on the left here to go from red to red, amber, and then the green with the arrows pointing ahead and pointing left. But the traffic to the right, extreme right, they would be getting restricted and they would still be getting held back. Now we've got the traffic flowing through from the right, so as long as they're flowing, I know that lights are not going to change. But whenever they stop flowing, or I don't see any cars coming through, there's a good chance that lights could change. So like I say, now we could expect these lights to start changing fairly soon, because I don't see it, and there we go, didn't see anyone coming through. Off we go, building up speed. I've got a motorcyclist behind me with a t-shirt on, the sun's out. Never ever do that, by the way, because despite how good you might feel you are as a motorcyclist, all it needs is somebody to run out in front of you, a car to pull out in front, a mechanical failure on your bike. So there you go, he's got a t-shirt on there. All he needs is a dog to run out, hit that bike, knock him off his bike, he's sliding up the road, and that's him skin grass for the rest of his life. Now then, we're reducing speed now, I'm going straight on. This is where we, as I say, would have went up to the up into that area there and did the nursery route for the roundabout. Signalling, checking my shoulder, and off we come. Now I'm going to build up the speed now, getting up to 40 miles per hour. And there we go, there's us up to 40 miles per hour. Extend the vision, I can see the roundabout in the distance, and I'm going to be going left at that roundabout. So, as usual, you know the routine by now. There's the mirrors checked, there's the signals on in good time, letting people know where I'm going. I'm reducing the speed but maintaining the centre of my lane, using both brakes to slow down, looking for the gap. There's the safe gap, looking round the roundabout, looking for any further hazards. Look at the 30 mile per hour speed limits now, we're going into a 30. Now I'm going to just pull in here and just check my battery on my GoPro, and then we'll rejoin the route again. Now we're in a 30 mile per hour speed limit here, and I'm doing about 27, 28 mile per hour just now. Now we've got quite a steep hill up ahead of us, so no surprise to find that we sometimes stop here for a hill start, so we'll just pull in the left here momentarily. So we'll pull in here for a hill start. Make sure that when you're slowing down, you're downshifting into the first gear, so that when you stop, you're in first. And have a little look in the display on the motorbike and make sure it says first gear. Now, remember what we said, revs a bit more than usual. Ease the clutch out to the biting point, ease it off. You'll see my foot's off the back brake, but the bike's held. Do my checks, increase my revs a bit more, slip the clutch out, I think it's a £1 coin, away I go, and I will let it out totally. So I just held it about a thickness of a £1 coin out for about the first bike length to 2 bike lengths of movement there. Now building up my speed now. Lewis was a bit slow getting away there. I'll slow down and give him a chance to catch up. Pedestrian crossing in front, zebra crossing, but nobody there of course. Now then, we're in the centre of the lane just now, and this would be, as I say, considered the normal road positioning. Extending the vision, I've got junctions on the right, junctions on the left, and I'm always scanning into my junctions looking for any danger. You've already seen cars pulling out in front of us. Now this is the part here where we would turn right. If we weren't happy with your emergency stops and U-turns, we would turn right, go up into here, and do the emergency stops and the U-turns up in that area up there as well. Now we're going to continue on the route though. another zebra crossing, but as you can see there was no one on the zebra crossing at all. We're going to be going left at the end of the road, so there's the mirror checks, signals applied, and it's not a significant change in direction, so I'm just moving slightly over towards my left, slowing down, looking right and left. Lovely open junction here. There's a black car coming, and I'm just slowing down to see where the driver's going. The driver's going past, and if I time this correctly, I'll be able to get out without having to stop. Now, don't challenge your slow speed riding and your balance too much. If you feel that you're wobbling too much, just make the decision to stop. But I knew that my control and balance would be good enough to let the car go past so that I could get out without stopping. Now, I'm still in a 30 mile per hour speed limit here, and you'll notice I'm going to the left of these speed bumps. I'm not riding over them. Now, you can either go to the left or to the right, as I've said previously, whichever side's the safest. If you've got danger on both sides, of course, you will have to go over the centre, but reduce the speed down. Don't make it uncomfortable for yourself, and show a bit of mechanical sympathy for the motorcycle. Remember that when cars go over these speed bumps, their tyres or their wheels are on either side where the bumps tend to be low. If we take a central position, we're getting the bump at its highest point. Now, we've got a hazard up ahead, the cyclist here, so watch how I handle the cyclist. The cyclist's obviously going to be a bit slower up the steep hill here, and I'm going to catch the cyclist then, so I'm catching my mirror, checking, moving out, and I want to give the cyclist plenty of room, but I've also got to look for any oncoming hazards. I've got a junction on the right here, and I'm making the decision to move out, keeping an eye on the junction on the right there, but I'm giving plenty of room for the cyclist, and then moving back in again. So I was watching two things there. One, to make sure I gave the cyclist plenty of room. Two, though, to make sure that by moving out I wasn't compromising myself with any oncoming traffic or any danger on the right hand side. Now, I've got a downhill section coming up here. Get a beautiful view from up here, one at the highest point of Kirkcaldy, I think this is. Checking the mirrors here, downshifting the gear, and I'm going to go down another gear. So I'm in third gear at the moment, and that's helping to control my speed down the hill. Sitting just underneath the 30 mile per hour speed limit here at the moment, about 27, 28, watching this blue car, check my mirror, covering my brake, being ready in case the driver had pulled out on me. Check my mirror, moving down. You'll notice I moved slightly out to the right there. If it had been advanced I was doing, I would have moved a lot further than that, but I don't want to make it look too extreme for you on basic CBT and basic L test. It was enough to say I was aware of the driver wasn't moving, and I made a slight movement without getting too extreme. Now, checking the mirrors, reducing my speed down here because of the narrowing gap and the vehicle that was coming through, so I timed that there so that I didn't need to slow down or stop. Picking my speed back up slightly after the parked vehicles, and again moving around the speed bump safely. I've got a downhill section here. Now remember, when you're looking at the road surface as well here, notice how these manhole covers, when you're looking at the road surface, look for colours changing the colour, because where there's a change in colour, that usually means there's a change in the surface, and the surface grip levels could be either better or they could be worse, but you need to make an assessment. If I see consistent colour, like I've got here for example, apart from the speed bumps, then I know that the grip levels further ahead are consistent with the grip levels that I've got at this point as well. Now, notice I'm giving plenty of room from the parked cars here on my left hand side, but still looking for oncoming danger. Now I'm turning right here, so my mirrors are checked, signalling, reducing my speed down, looking to make sure it's clear. It is. Nice open junction, out we come. Going to be turning right at the roundabout down here, so again my mirrors are checked, my signals are applied, reducing my speed down, looking for the safe gap and opportunity, but there's a car coming, so watch what I do. I just slow it down a little bit more and I look to see if I've got a gap, which I've got. I can get on, loose won't, but I will. Signal coming off, check my left shoulder off I come. Now I'm intentionally going to just slow down a bit now to give Lewis a chance to catch me up, and I see Lewis now coming behind me, so I'm going to pick up my speed again. We're in a 30 mile per hour speed limit, and if I look up the side streets I can see 20 mile per hour up the side streets. Now I'm going to be turning right at the roundabout down here, so I'm checking my mirrors, signalling right, checking my right shoulder, and then moving over into the correct position for approaching the roundabout. Reducing my speed down, using both brakes, more in the front than the rear, easing off the front, a little bit in the rear, coming off the rear now, see the safe gap, on we go. Watching the cyclist here, signalling, checking to the left, cyclist is remaining in a safe position, off we come. Now I'm going to build up a bit of speed now. I see a pedestrian crossing up ahead. and I'm just watching to see if there's any danger. There's not. Check my mirrors to see how close Lewis was behind me, if I did have to brake for some reason. Now I'm going to be going straight on at this roundabout here, so again, checking my mirrors, taking up the position in the middle of the left hand half, reducing the speed down, looking for danger but looking for the gap. And if you remember, we spent a bit of time in the last video riding around this roundabout. On we go. Hopefully Lewis will get away with me. Checking my mirrors, signal left now, nobody there. Check my right shoulder to see nobody straight lining the roundabout and going to cut me up on the exit. Off we go, check my mirrors, making sure my new road check sequence is complete, cancelling the signals, checking I've cancelled and checking my mirrors. Watching the van on my right, you shouldn't be able to get out because of the vehicles that are coming towards me, of course. Now we're going to be turning right at the little mini roundabout here. So here's my mirrors checked, my signals applied, checking, moving over slightly to the right, but not too much. I don't want to encourage cars too much up the inside of me, and I want a straight run onto this roundabout. I don't have to swing to the left as I go on. Didn't know where that driver was going. Signal was kind of last minute there. Checking. Off we go. Off we come. Pedestrian crossing up ahead, but no one there, so the lights shouldn't change. Checking my mirrors, and on we go. Now I'm going to be going right. Another person in t-shirts, so it's just amazing how many people ride about with t-shirts on their motorbikes when the sun comes out. Now we're going to be turning right here. There's the mirrors on, signals, we check, middle of the right hand half. Got a silver vehicle coming from my right, but it's been held up by this vehicle, and I see the gap now and I can flow on. But Lewis is probably, oh, he's managed to get away with me. Well done, Lewis. Now I'm going to check my mirrors, signal left, check to the left, and off we come. Pedestrian crossing in front, but it was at green and no one was there, so I knew there was a good chance it wasn't going to change. Going to pull in again and check my battery life on my GoPro. Okay, well I can tell from Lewis's GoPro that we've still got a bit of battery life left, and so we're still filming at the moment. So at the moment then you'll notice that what we're doing is we're really only showing you the parts of the route that we've not already shown in previous videos. Now what I thought here is, we've already shown you this bit of the Ochtertool road, the B925 that we use, where we go out to Ochtertool, and we came back in the last video. So I thought what might be a good idea this time is to pick up the route at the other side of Ochtertool and do that part out to the roundabout and back, because we never showed that part last time. So we're only in effect showing you the parts that we haven't already shown you on the previous video. Alright, so no point filming this bit, we'll just switch it off. Okay, well, as if by magic, here we are. So this is the point where, if you remember last time, we turned round and we headed back into Kirkcaldy, and we said that if we were running out of time, or we felt we were tired, and it's been a long day, we might just shorten it and head back in again. If, however, we know your capabilities, and we know that we've still got more time, and you're obviously still sharp and alert, then we will head right out through Ochtertool and we'll go to the roundabout the other side, and that's what we're going to show now. So follow me now and you'll see the part of the route that you didn't see. Alright. Okay, so normal checks, make sure it's safe, and off we go. Now we're in Ochtertool, the village of Ochtertool here, 20 mile per hour stretch. This is the village that I actually live in myself. Going to the left of the speed bump here, check my mirror, check my shoulder, make sure it's safe, moving out. Again, the usual stuff, making sure I'm giving plenty of room from the parked cars, but also looking up the hill here to make sure there's nobody coming down towards me. Check my mirror, my shoulder, moving back in again. I'm deciding to go to the left hand side of the bump because it takes me more away from the parked vehicles. And I'm checking obviously the near side junction for any car coming out here, and looking up over the crest of the hill for the next hazard that could be coming my way. Just keep my bike just around about 18-19 mile per hour here, and you see I'm working my way to left of the bumps. I could of course go to the right of this bump because again there's nobody coming towards me and it's not taking me too close to the vehicle, parked vehicle there. Again, staying on the left hand side here around the bump. Got the choice of left or right there. The road's just been recently resurfaced here, that's why it appears so dark. Now this time I'm having a look over the crest, and again I've got the choice of left or right. I'm choosing to go left. I could have just as easily went to the right, and this time I'm going to show you me going to the right. Okay, so again, decide which side looks the safest. If you've got danger on both sides and you didn't have to go over the centre like I'm showing you now, then this is how you would do it. You just reduce the speed, and that was me at 12 miles per hour, and trust me, that was enough of a bump right over the middle. Remember what was said there, the car drivers, when they go over them, they're straddling them, they're at the lowest points with the tyres. If we go at the centre, we're taking the highest point and getting bumped out the seat. So you'll find that about 12 miles an hour is as fast as you want to go over one of these 125s with, I can assure you. But you go left or right, whatever's safest, and as I say, if you're forced into taking the centre, then take it. Okay, national speed limit, here we go out into the country roads. I'm keeping to the left hand side here for the bend. Helping a little bit, checking the junction on the left to make sure there's no danger, it's okay. Up the next gear, extend my vision up the hill, and I can see it's a left hand bend coming up, and the sign tells me it's a left hand bend. I can also see it's uphill. Checking my mirrors, just reducing my speed down, the hill's naturally slowing me down, I don't need to brake, staying in the middle, lean my body, and that helps me to turn round the corner, just lean my body in. Keeping the throttle open, I can see the next sign tells me it's a right hand bend. You'll notice I'm in the centre just now, but I'm now moving left of centre, not too far to the left, but just enough to improve my vision, take me away from any danger. My vision's been maintained through the bend, so I'll maintain my speed, and then back to my normal position as I come out again. Now I've extended the vision here, I can see the road curves round to the left. Look at the centre line here, it's a solid white line. Remember what we said, solid white lines, we should not cross them. There are certain times when you can, the highway code tells you, road maintenance vehicle if directed to do so, or you're gaining access to the driveway, for example. Now we can see the signs telling us to reduce speed now, right hand bend, left hand bend, letters SLOW across the road, so I'm reducing my speed. I'm staying on my left hand side, got the solid white lines again, the black and white chevrons indicating the direction of the bend. Shell sure grip down to give extra grip, it's quite a bad bend that one. Maintaining the speed now, building up the speed. Staying on the left hand side for the right hand bend. Extending my vision through, the vision's opening up, but then it reduces again for the next bend. So I'm checking my mirrors, reducing my speed down, jumping the gear, not having to brake, I'm just reducing the speed with the engine gearbox, what we call acceleration sense. My vision's maintained, so my speed maintained. Vision's tightening up again, so I'm reducing my speed, moving over to the left. Vision's maintained, so I maintain my speed. Vision's opening up, so I can now open up my speed. So notice there what I'm saying, if my vision's reducing, my speed reduces. My vision's been maintained and it's safe to do it, I maintain the speed. And then when my vision opens up, if it's safe to do it, I'll open up my speed. I'm keeping to left again, just in case somebody's overtaken on my side, and now I can go back to my normal position again. Checking my mirrors, I'm a 60 mile an hour speed limit, so I'm prepared to open the little bike up. I can see over this brown crest now, and I can see it's clear, so I'm going to keep the speed going. But in the distance I can see a blind crest, so I'm going to check my mirrors, ease back my throttle, let the bike slow down, moving back to left of centre just in case someone's coming over the other way. I can see the sign on my left here telling me it's a left hand bend followed by a right, so I'm taking a position in the centre here, more central position, maintaining the speed at the moment because my vision's been maintained there. It was reduced on the approach, so that's why I reduced the speed. Then once it was being maintained, I maintained the speed. I can see the road's now going to the right, so back to the left. Vision's been maintained, now it's opening up, so now I can begin to increase my speed as I come off the bend. Vision reducing with the blind crest, so I'm reducing my speed. Every time I reduce my speed, I check my mirrors before I do it, just to see what's happening. Now my vision's reducing with the bend, so again check my mirrors, reducing my speed. My vision's been maintained now as I go into the bend, so I maintain my speed through the bend. Vision's opening up, but I can see another bend, so no point increasing the speed too much. Maintaining the speed because my vision's been maintained. Vision's opening up, so I can now increase, but I've got a blind crest, so I've got to watch, not too fast. Vision's opening up again, but another blind crest, so again I'm not going to go too fast, just increasing the speed slightly up to about 40. Vision's opening up now as I go over the crest, I can see the roundabout in the distance, so I can now increase my speed. Now I'm going to do a U-turn at this roundabout and head back again, so checking my mirrors, signalling right, and this is what we would do with you as well. With some riders, if we felt you had even more experience, we might even go on the dual carriageway with you. That's typically CBT renewals or people that's had quite a bit of experience of riding bikes before. So always remember that we can adjust and adapt this route to suit your abilities and your needs and what we believe we can help you with, because that's what you're on the CBT for, it's to improve your rider skills. So let's head back in now. So check the mirrors, building up speed. You can see the hill going up in front of me, hazard line at the side there, the long white paint short gaps. When you get hazard lines, they're long white paint short gaps, and ordinary centre lines, long gaps, short paint. And of course we've already told you about the solid white line and what that means. Again, you'll notice my position for the blind crest. I've got a sign up ahead telling me it's a left hand bend followed by a right hand bend. Checking my mirrors again just before I slow for going over the blind crest. Back again to a more central position here for the left hand bend. Vision maintained, just leaning my body into the corner, that's all I need to do. Now when you come to do the direct access, we'll give you more than that, and we'll make it, we'll talk about a thing called counter steering. But at this level and the speeds that we'll be doing, it's simply leaning your body in, and because it's a little 125, they're so light, they're so easy to turn in the bends, that it's simply leaning the body. At the moment I'm doing nothing through the bars. All I'm doing, just to prove it to you, is so. Now obviously we're not advising you to do that, but I'm just letting you see that just by simply leaning my body, that this little bike goes around the corner. So again, my hands are off the bars, watch what I do, lean my body, and the bike went round the corner. That's why we don't need to do heavy counter steer on these bikes, little 125s. For CBT, it's enough to simply say to you, lean your body into the corner. Now as you get on a bigger bike and higher speeds, because we restrict your speeds on the CBT as well on the country roads, we don't want you going too fast round the bends for obvious reasons. We want to build you up gradually and gently, and you'll find that for the type of bends that we're using here, they're not too severe, they're not too tight, and we're not going too fast. We get the speed down well before the bend. You'll notice we always get the speed down before the bend, and if necessary using the brakes to get the speed down, or you'll see the way I've been doing it most of the time, I've been, like say here, I'm going down a steep hill here, fairly tight bend at the bottom, but these little bikes have quite a lot of engine braking, so I'm dropping down to fourth, down to third, and I don't actually need to brake just now. My bike's already down to 30 miles per hour just with the gearbox. Maintain the speed, lean my body in, and round it went. Now a bigger, heavier motorbike tends to have a little bit more momentum and tends perhaps not to slow down quite as easily as these little 125s can do at times. Being little single cylinders and being light little bikes, this downshifting through the gears, they slow down very easily. And because they're so light, they're so easy to turn, and as I say, you do nothing more than just leaning the body, and I've proved that to you already. But when you come to do your direct access, and if you come back to do post-test training with me and do what's referred to as advanced training at the moment, or I like to just call it rider skills development, then I'll be teaching you a lot more than this on the bend, I can assure you. I'll be teaching you a whole host of other things. At this stage for CBT, we just simply teach you the basics that you need to know. We're not trying to take you to university before you've done secondary school, and we're not trying to take you to secondary school before you've done primary. And that's basically what the CBT is. It's building all the basic foundations first. Now, downhill again, I've got a left-hand bind sign coming up here. So again, checking my mirrors, reducing my speed down, closing the throttle. I'm in 5th gear now, dropping it down to 4th gear. Bike's slowing down beautifully for me. Vision's been maintained. I maintain the speed now at 30 through the corner. Vision's opening up, so open up my speed. Up to the 4th gear. Looking across to the right here, I can see a road on my right, so there's a good chance that road's going to connect to this road. Got a right hand bend coming up here, so just check my mirrors, reduce my speed just by closing the throttle, lean my body in again, and the bike just goes through the bend. Opening up my throttle now, increasing my speed. I can see the signs here telling me I'm coming into the built up area, and that built up area of course is off to tool. So I'm closing the throttle now, downshifting from 5th to 4th, downshifting another gear, and the bike's just slowing down nicely, and it's going to come nicely in on the 30 mile per hour. Now, if I had somebody really close behind me other than Lewis, I'd be showing a little bit of brake light as well, just to let them know I'm slowing down, because these bikes can slow down, as you've seen, quite a lot just using the gearbox. Now I've got a 20 mile per hour zone ahead, so I'm checking my mirrors, closing my throttle, and again the bike's coming in nicely now on the 20. Now you'll notice there that I've never used my brakes once. That's what we call forward planning, where I'm extending my vision, looking ahead, seeing what's happening, seeing the hazards, and then reducing my speed in good time, so that I'm not having to rush up to them and apply my brakes at the last moment. So that's us then. Made our way back into the village. I think that's a good point to cut the video here at this point from Ochtertool, and then pick the video up at the other side once we get into Kirkcaldy and show you again more of the route that we've not had a chance to show you already. Okay, well, of course, you just seen us there on the Ochtertool Road at the other side of the Ochtertool Road, and then we rode back into the village of Ochtertool. So this is us now picking the route up at Kirkcaldy again, and what we're going to do is show you the parts that we didn't show you in the previous video. Now, I've already shown you the areas that we use for the roundabouts down here, and we've already showed you the areas that we use for the one-way streets, so I thought there's no point showing that. So what we're going to do is just basically pick up the rest of the route on the way back to ProScot now, where we sort of do the town riding, where there's quite a lot of hazards through Kirkcaldy High Street, and there can be quite a few more hazards to deal with. Now, you'll see that what's really happened here with the route then, it's progressed from nursery area into intermediate and into more challenging. But remember, it is still CBT, so even challenging is not too difficult. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get in the video. Okay, well, projecting my vision up ahead, I can see the lights are just changing to green. Do my checks here. I've got some cars passing me just now, so it's not safe, and I can't really see past, so I'm now having to turn, have a good look, and I can see it's now safe. Got a silver car turning in front of me. Now, normally at this part, if we're still not happy with your roundabouts and your pedestrian, your one-way streets and that, would have went back to the left and back up into that area. But we're going to assume that that was okay, and we're going to go straight into the roundabout here and pick up the route. So here we go, onto the roundabout, watching the white van ahead of me, going on. Yep, he's away safely. Silver car should give way, signal, checking the driver through, shoulder check to see that it's safe. Off we come. Now, extend the vision up ahead. I've got a parked car obstruction to deal with, so mirror check, shoulder, moving out in plenty of time into the correct safe position. I've got oncoming vehicles towards me, and notice I've got plenty of room from that one. Check my mirrors moving back in, and I'm still well away from the oncoming vehicles. Near side junction hidden, so I'm just checking in to make sure it's safe. Extending the vision, got traffic lights pressing, crossing up ahead. I can see the lady walking across the road, but she's not at the crossing. Mirrors checked, reduced my speed just slightly as I've come down here because I can see the road's narrowing. I've got cars coming towards me, so just using the OSM PSL routine, just adjusting the position and the speed to deal with the situation safely. I've got a reduced gap here, but I'm still going through it at a reasonably safe speed there. I was going through it just over the 20 mile per hour there. Now I'm going to be turning left at the lights down here, so you know the routine by now, mirrors and signal. And then taking up the position, reducing the speed. The lights are at red, so I'm using both brakes as a slow. The lights are changing, checking, having a look, make sure. So even though it's clear, it's green, I still have a look just in case. Cancel my signal. Now, notice we've got an increased level of hazards now. We've got lots of parked cars, pedestrians walking about, got the bus up ahead with the brake lights on. I'm looking up the side of the bus, check my mirror, check my shoulder, having a wee look out here and looking to see if it's safe to go past. I can see a vehicle in front of the bus here. Not entirely sure what's happening at the moment, so I'm just holding back, giving the situation time to develop. Checking it's safe. I see the bus signalling left. I've got a silver car coming towards me, and the bus is pulling into the bus stop. And again, I'm just holding back here, and I'm positioning so I can see past the bus. I've got a driver on my left here pulling out here, so this driver's pulling out. Got to be aware of them moving out. And obviously, I was holding back there more for the bus so I could see around the bus, but the driver at the side of me took the opportunity then to move off. Now there's a gap, and I'm going to check. I'm going to move out round about the bus here because it is sitting stationary. Oh, just as I went out, he signalled, and that's the sort of thing that can happen after me sitting there patiently, and then the driver decided to move. But he thankfully looked in his mirrors, he saw me. Now lights are at green here. I'm going to continue through, but again, with all crossroads, we still glance left and right in case there's an emergency vehicle running through. Lewis has got through as well. Got the pedestrian here looking like they're wanting to walk across, so I'm just adjusting my position and my speed here for the danger on the left and on the right. Pedestrian crossing up ahead. I can see the right hand side of it but not the left, so I'm checking my mirrors, reducing my speed just in case somebody's around the corner ready to step on it. And I'm going to turn immediate right here, watching the lady walking across the road. She didn't look, she was obviously just listening, checking, and then round I go. Again, I've got parked vehicles on my left, pedestrian crossings up ahead and preferred crossing points. So again, I'm just checking my mirrors, my shoulder, moving out in good time, adjusting my position and my speed here so I can handle the situation safely. Scanning the crossing for any danger. It looks clear. I'm going to continue through. This is the taxi rank here, and you can see all the taxis lined up. We're on a one-way street at the moment. It's clear now. I'm beginning to pick the speed back up again. Still in the 20 zone, so you'll notice I've got to keep it within that. So I'm still doing 20 mile per hour at the moment. Now I've got a wee blind crest here, but over the top of the blind crest my vision is going to start opening up and we're going to turn right at the end here. So there's my mirrors checked, you know the routine by now. There's the signal. I'm already in position, so I'm not needing a shoulder check because it's just a gradual change of direction, so I don't really need it. Slowing the speed down, blind junction here to the right, and I don't know if a pedestrian could step off, so notice I'm going slow just in case somebody come flying around. Looking left and right, see it's clear, round I come. Now I've got the pedestrian zebra crossing here, but I've got restricted vision left and right, and I've got the cyclist going across in front there. So just reduce my speed down in case somebody suddenly steps on, but once I see I'm close enough, I see it's clear, I can continue through. Parked vehicles on the left, brake lights up ahead, parked vehicles on the right hand side, and lots of pedestrians. So you'll notice I'm just adjusting my speed here, holding back, giving myself plenty of space, plenty of room, so I could deal with any what ifs. Big manhole cover there, you can see the big silver. Not so much of a problem rolling over on a dry day, that's more of a problem if you're braking, accelerating or leaning on it. Especially on a wet day, but on dry days rolling over them not so much of a problem. Seagull on the roof of a car. Owner's going to come back to scratch roof and some bird droppings. Obviously somebody there parked wrong on the pavement with their hazard warning lights. That doesn't give you a right to do that. It was still a double yellow line there, you'll notice. Now we've got the traffic lights up ahead at red, so I'm just adjusting my speed down. And this is why we bring you along here. We want to see how you handle more town hazards, like you've seen there, the parked cars, pedestrians, people just wandering across in front of you. So just an increase in the level of hazards that you're having to deal with. So you'll see then that the route then's a real mixture, isn't it? Junctions. It starts off, you know, with the nursery area, with the basic junctions, T junctions, emerging turning in, then onto the emerging stop and U-turn, and then on the intermediate area with the crossroads, T junctions and crossroads, the meet situations, the parked cars. We're turning left here, the parked cars. I'm still looking just in case, and a wee check on my right shoulder before I moved over. Yeah, the meet situations, obstructions, parked cars, open and closed junctions. Then we moved on to the pedestrian crossings, and then the speed limits were starting to increase from 20 to 30 to 40. Then we did our roundabouts and traffic lights and filter lights and our roundabouts, and then our gradients. And then we went on to one-way streets and more challenging roundabouts, Then we headed out the country road and did a bit of country driving, and then we came back in and back into town riding again, and this time challenging a bit more with the town riding. And now this is us heading back towards ProScot. So the whole route easily takes the 2 hours to get round, easily. And as I say, we like to be out for longer. That's why we like to get through the yard stuff a bit quicker, element A, B, C and D, and to be able to get through the yard stuff a bit quicker. Not so much with the practical, but more with the theory, the talking and the demonstrations. If we can do it on questions and you giving us right answers, we know you've been watching the videos, then we can get you on the bike riding more and spend more time riding the bikes. And that's really where it is. We want to spend more time teaching you how to ride the motorcycles rather than more time talking. Alright? There is, of course, a certain amount of theory that you've got to have, that goes without saying. But the focus really is on learning to ride the motorbikes. You never learn to swim standing at the poolside watching other people swim. You need to get in, you need to get wet. It's the same on a motorbike. You need to get on the bike, you need to get riding. Now that's quite a steep hill, that one there. That's one that people need to drop the gear to help the little 125s up the hill. And at the roundabout up at the end here, we're going to be going left at this roundabout at the end here. Pedestrian crossing's clear. Checking mirrors to see how close Lewis is. Going left at the roundabout. And we're going to be going left at the roundabout. Seen it's clear, there's my clear gap, and on I go. Now, checking my mirror. I don't really need a shoulder check because it's just a slight change in direction out towards the right there. Checking the crossing for looking at the guys there, but he didn't push the button. So that's how I knew that the lights weren't going to change. If he had an outstretched arm towards the lights, then I knew those lights were a good chance they were going to change. Now we're going to be going left at the traffic lights up here. We're going to be going left at these lights. So the usual routine, you'll know it well by now. So when you come in for your CBT, you should know that routine well. Moving over, just watching the red car doesn't try and nip in before me. I'm adjusting my speed down because I've got restricted vision as I go around the corner here. I don't know what to expect around the corner. I know there was nothing there, but I was ready for the what if, just in case. Remember what we said, if your vision's reducing, your speed should reduce. Now then, I'm going to be turning right down here at the junction on the right. You know the routine by now. Signalling in good time. I'm already in the correct position for turning right, looking ahead, looking into the junction, pedestrian crossing, and I can see the lights are actually out on the left but green on the right. And I was going to say, I think, why can't I see that light? I should be able to see that light by now, but that's why the bulb wasn't working. It was out, but the one on the right hand side was in. I could see the red for the pedestrian, and I'm thinking, why is there a red and why is there not a green for us? So that was why. Now the crossing up ahead's obviously changed to red, so I'm checking my mirrors. I'm just going to adjust my speed down on approach, so I'm not rushing up. And if I time this correctly here, I should be able to get through without having to stop. There's the lights changing, check the mirrors, safe, continue through. And that's what we call acceleration sense. Just reading, extending the vision, being aware of the hazard, being aware of the danger, and then just reducing the speed down. Watching the van here in case I want to turn right. Yeah, it's going to wait. Watching the silver car. Good, and then it's clear, and then continuing through. Notice how I'm naturally defensive. I expect the worst from everyone. I expect every car driver, every lorry, every cyclist to be out to get me. They're wanting to get me. They're wanting to knock me off my bike, pull it in front of me, and that's how I think. Now some people say, oh, that's a kind of paranoid way to think, is it not? Well, you could put it that way, but it's not really looking at it as it means I'm a survivor. Alright, and anybody that does anything nice and positive, well, that just happens to be a bonus. But I never ever ride expecting someone else to save my bacon. I always ride saving my own bacon. I naturally be defensive. That means riding in such a way you don't get involved in their accidents. So expect the worst from everyone. Think that somebody's been paid 20 quid to get you that day, and you don't know who it is. It could be the car driver, the lorry driver, the bus driver. It could be the motorcyclist, it could be the cyclist, it could be the pedestrian, it could be the Alsatian dog. Somebody's been given 20 quid to get you the day, one of them. And that's how you should think, and that's how you should ride. Plan and prepare for the worst, and you'll always be well prepared. Now, adjust my speed down as I approach this roundabout. Slowing down. And notice I'm not rushing up. I'm giving the roundabout time to develop, see where everybody's going. And if there's still not a gap for me, I'll stop. And there wasn't a gap, but if a gap had come there, I'd have been ready to roll on. There's my gap, I can get going. Signal left, watching the white cars on the left, getting eye contact with the driver, then checking the right, nobody's there, we're fine. Pedestrian crossing's clear, continue through. It's all about scanning, it's all about moving the eyes, it's all about getting information, identifying the hazards, and when you see those hazards, keeping scanning, but being aware of the hazard, seeing if it's increasing in danger, if you need to respond further with your position and your speed to make any further adjustments. Remember, your job is to try and stay as safe as you can. Now that's us back at ProScot. Just turning the right now takes us back into ProScot, and that's the route completed. So between what you've seen already with the on-roads that we did in element C, part 1, part 2, plus what we showed today, we've now shown you all the areas that we use for our on-road. And if you're looking at those videos, you'll feel quite familiar with them when you come in, and that should help your confidence as well. And that's us. Well, I hope you've really enjoyed the series. Ruth's sitting there with her group today that have been in doing their CBT. So we'll just finish off then, if Lewis gets me on the video. Lewis, if you just come over here. So that brings an end to the video then, and I really hope you've enjoyed the series. for the CBT. We've tried to cover everything that's in a CBT and make it very, very authentic. I know a lot of ones that says, you know, CBT video and it lasts 12 minutes. You think, well, how can that possibly cover everything when the CBT typically takes anything between 6 and 8 hours to get through a CBT. So there's a lot in it, and I think you now say anybody that says, what, 150 quid or 200 quid or whatever it happens to be for a CBT as it was at this time when we were filming this, it's really cheap, trust me. When you think car lessons are £30 an hour and you think how many hours that we put into this, it's actually very, very cheap. There's a huge amount goes into learning to ride the motorbikes. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Everything's there that you need to know, not just for the CBT, but to help you for your Module 1 and Module 2. Thank you very much, and thanks for watching the series. John Macdonald and Lewis, over and out.